Thank you, Father. I want to say thank you again to everybody who got us to this point. Um, for 6 months now, we've been waiting for this moment to get back into the school building. And after lots of preparations that have occurred during the summer, a lot of things that have been mandated by the state, by the city, by the archdiocese, um, we're here. We're ready to go. And we thank everybody for their cooperation, everybody for their help, and their prayers especially. But here we go. We're ready to go, and I'm very happy that this night has occurred. We're here, and we're ready to go. So let me introduce a couple people to you. As you know, Mrs. Terry Seaman retired after 33 years of service here at Christ the King. Um, we are going to miss Mrs. Seaman terribly. She was a very wonderful person to have, not only as a teacher, but as a colleague and a human being. A very wonderful person. Everybody loves her for a reason. It's because she is a living example of how the gospel should be expressed in our world, and we'll miss her. But we did manage to find someone who is ready to take on the task of teaching their first graders, and that's Miss Jennifer Nichols. Miss Nichols comes to us from the Ben Salem School District. She is now here as our first grade teacher. I want to wish her well here at Christ the King, and we pray for her that the beginning of her ministry here will be an incredible blessing to everybody here and to herself. But thank you, Miss Nichols, for being here, and God bless you on your new ministry. Also, you've heard that in August, Mrs. Rita Severino accepted a position at Nazareth Academy High School. We're going to miss Mrs. Severino as well. Everybody knows The Hobbit because of her. Everybody knows how to write because of her, how to write term papers, things like that. Um, she is, she's going to be missed. She was a great blessing to us, the living stations and all the other little things she did here and there around the school will be missed. But we did find someone who is going to be able to take her place as the seventh grade teacher. Miss Eileen O'Brien, Mrs. O'Brien, comes to us from a history of different places. She's a veteran of Catholic school education. And she's going to be teaching the seventh grade and eighth grade ELA and religion this year. And we welcome them warmly. Thank you for being here. God bless your ministries here with us, and we're all the better for it. We have our returning teachers as well. Mrs. Cheryl Bobbitt will be in pre-K. Mrs. Jacqueline Jackson will be in kindergarten. Mrs. Megan Ruwana will be in second grade. Miss Samantha Byers in third grade. Mrs. Shelley Kaczynski in fourth grade. Mrs. Stephanie Chavey in fifth grade. Mrs. Peggy Kermick in sixth grade. Sister Mary Anthony in eighth grade. Mrs. Janet Snyder will be continuing with art. Mrs. Danielle McDevitt will be our phys ed teacher again this year. Mrs. Mary Love is our librarian, and Mr. Leith Kussmiter will be our technology teacher again this year. You know Miss Louise, she's in our office, she'll be there too as well, and Mrs. Denise Valley is our advancement and enrollment director. She also handles the reduction tuition things, which I'll explain a little bit later on. Things like script and the jackpot, which will be returning to us this week. So welcome to everybody. Thanks for coming back. They're great people. I know a lot of the parents love and respect you, and we're glad to have you back. A couple of things. I wanted to make sure that we were clear with our daily routines. I sent home a couple of letters, 3 letters during the summertime, and I wanted to make sure that everybody is up to date on that. We also have a place on our website which has all that stuff written out, all these new routines, these policies and procedures we're going to follow because of the COVID-19 outbreak. We're going to stick to them strictly because that's what we're asked to do. And not that we're robots and not that we can't think on our feet, but the safest way to do things is the way that everybody understands them so that things are done properly. So be aware of those routines, the morning routine, the dismissal routine, and then just, bringing things to the building in the middle of the day if you have to. I'm going to go through that with a little bit of detail right now. Arrival in the morning is going to be generally the same, except we're going to be taking temperatures so that we can maintain that safety that we need in the building. We ask you to do that at home. There's a checklist that I sent home in an option C email. Just keep that in a safe place where you're going to be able to refer to it every morning so you can go through the same routine every day just to make sure that everybody's on a safe in a safe position to come to school. Don't forget that we're going to be checking temperatures in the safe zone when you're coming around to drop your children off in the morning. We're going to be out in the yard for as long as we can stand it with the cold. And if we do have rain, I'll explain that in a minute how that'll change. But there's a safe zone where cones are lined up, and we have teachers that will take temperatures and help your kids get out of the car and direct them to their lines. We ask that nobody leave their cars until they get to the safe zone so that we can check everybody's temperature. We ask everybody to be patient and get a good start in the morning because there might be a little bit of a wait in the line as the kids get in and out of the cars. We ask people who are walking to school, either from the north or from the south. There will be teachers stationed at either end of the schoolyard to take temperatures of the walkers who are coming into the schoolyard. So we ask the walkers to check in with those teachers before they head to their lines. The lines will have little dots, little gray dots on them, so the kids will be able to maintain distancing while they're in the yard. They have to wear their masks while they're in the yard. While they're on the property, they have to wear their masks. That way, we make a simple rule that everybody understands. We'll do the regular prayer and Pledge of Allegiance in the morning, and then we'll head to the different classrooms. We have separate entrances for the children to come into so that we can keep the groups apart. And then the teachers will bring them into class. Well, they're going to be able to stay in that classroom for as long as the day is. And then some of the teachers will switch in and out depending on whether that grade is departmental or not. Those are the 3rd through 8th grades. We also ask that in the morning, that if you're going to stay for the prayer, we need you to be distant from the children, very distant from the children. In fact, we'd like you to be distant from each other as well. So I know the first graders will start on Thursday, but the first grade parents are going to want pictures and things like that, but we need you to stay back away from the kids, and you too must wear your masks. And then once the kids are in the building or starting into the building, we need the parents to start leaving the yard. No one's really allowed to congregate on the property during the school day. So we ask your cooperation with that, and we thank you for your understanding. If you're going to drive on the property, just remember that the speed limit is 5 miles per hour, and we need you to be careful if you're going to park. There will be kids walking from the car line into their classroom line, so we need you to be very aware of where the kids are at all times while you're driving on the property. The lines in the afternoon, they're going to be the usual lines, the car line out back. And for those who are new to the school, you won't quite understand until you get here, but the cars line up perpendicularly to the building. So if the building is straight, the cars will face the building in lines of no more than 4, please, in a line, so we can maintain a good distance between the people in the cars. The kids will be released by grades, oldest first. So we're going to get those kids out to the lines, and then the parents can pick them up and take them to their lines. Let me rephrase that. The car lines will be the youngest first. I'm sorry about that. And then they'll come out pre-K and kindergarten first by grade. It's going to take some time to get everybody out by a grade because once a grade vacates a floor, the next grade can continue to leave. And that's just part of the distancing protocols that we have in place. We also, for the walker line, we're going to release the older kids first, which is what I meant to say in the first place. So that when they get to the end of the line at the property, either in front of the church for the north or down at the bottom of the driveway for the south line kids, that they'll be there for the younger kids to come out and meet them so the older kids can walk them home. That way we'll have a smooth transition to getting the kids home, but also be able to maintain a little bit of distance between them. We ask people not to park out front if they're going to pick their kids up. Please park in the yard. You will get out of here faster if you park in the yard. You're going to pick your kids up by car line. We also ask people who are walking, do not pick your kids up during the car line. That creates confusion with the teachers who need to know where your kids are at all times. It also can cause traffic disruption while we're trying to get people out of the parking lot. So we ask you, if your kids are going to walk, let them go out the walker lines. If the kids are going to be driven home, please come park at in the parking lot for the car line. If you need to come during the day, we're not going to be able to allow you in the building during the day, but Miss Louise will be able to handle any kind of business you need at the front door. So our front door is the door that's where the buzzer is, which faces Chesterfield Road, where the two railings are, if you're not exactly familiar with it. That's what we call our front door. All you have to do is buzz. Miss Louise will ask what your business is, and then she can help you do whatever you need to do. We do ask that you call Miss Louise before you get here so she knows to expect you. That way she can set things up if you need to grab a kid early for a dentist appointment or whatever. She'll be able to have your child ready for you when you come to the door, or any other kind of business you have that needs to be taken care of. One of the things we really need you to be careful of. We know that lunches can be a problem in the morning because sometimes people forget that the kids leave them in the cars. Having people come and delivering lunches at all times of the day it's a little problematic in trying to get the kids their lunches because they're really not supposed to be walking through the building without supervision. So we're going to ask you to please be aware that their lunches are with them at all times. We ask you to pack their lunches and make sure they arrive with those lunches. We know things happen. Life happens. Mistakes happen. There's nothing much we can do about that. There will be a procedure for that. Just make sure you call the office and let Miss Louise know what's going on. If you are going to pick up your kids from the school, we need you to make sure that it's absolutely necessary. Like I said, we can't have too many people in the building. In fact, we can't have any visitors in the building during the pandemic protocols that are in place. But we ask you to make sure that Miss Louise knows you need them, and they'll be able to be dismissed from Miss Louise's office. We were having a few people getting back to that habit of pulling their kids out of school at 2:15, somewhere around there, because they need to get out before the line starts. What we need you to do is we need you to do that before 2 o'clock. The half hour between 2 and 2:30 is really hectic for the teachers as they try and get the kids packed up and ready to go, especially the younger kids who need a specific routine to follow every day. I would really stress to you that if you're going to pick up your kid a little bit earlier, you need to call Miss Louise and have that done before 2 o'clock. And I would ask you to hold off on as many times as you can with that occurring, because that does cause a bit of movement that doesn't necessarily need to happen. Those are the daily routine things I need to go through. With the uniform, we did change the uniform. We tweaked it a little bit. The girls are going to be wearing a red shirt now. There were a couple of reasons for that. The one is that the white shirts become very dingy after a few washings, and the older girls preferred to have something that was a little more dark to wear. And we acceded to their wishes because we want them to be comfortable. The uniform, we're going to be using the summer uniform. It's an option. They don't have to wear the summer uniform if you don't want them to, or if they can't wear it for some reason. And all the uniform options are available on the website, so if you can take a look at them and make sure you know what's going on with that. I did have a link in a couple of letters, but if you go on our website, ChristTheKingSchool.net, there is a uniform listing underneath the parental information section. That was the one thing we changed. The girls in the first and sixth grade, first and sixth, need to wear the red shirt this year. All the other grades, if you still have the white shirt, continue to wear them until they wear out. That way you don't have to buy them right away. We also went to a plain, or excuse me, a black and white saddle shoe for all girls. Um, we were getting different varieties of shoes coming in, and we wanted to make sure that we were a little bit more um, specific about what type of shoe they should be wearing. Which leads me to the boys. The boys' uniform is not going to change that much. The sweater is going to be blue this year, not red. But we also we want to make sure that the boys are in the proper shoes when they're in their regular uniform. They need to be black school shoes. Um, sneakers are not black sneakers are not permitted. I know there were people in the past that were they might have been given a waiver for that. That's not it's not there are no exceptions to that rule. We need you to wear a black school shoe when they're dressed in their formal uniform. With the blue knit shirt and the long blue pants. The gym uniform is the summer uniform, essentially, where you can wear a Christ the King T-shirt. Any of the other ones that we bought when there was a online school sale that we had last year, those are official. They're okay. The gym shirts are okay. Anything that's a Christ the King shirt is okay. CYO shirts are okay as long as the children are members of CYO because CYO is a specific membership that they have, and the kids who are in CYO will be allowed to wear those shirts for the summer uniform. And the kids, there's not a specific type of sneaker the kids need to wear, but the socks need to be as they are listed in the uniform regulations. They have to be above the ankle, but not the long socks the boys tend to wear. We get different varieties of socks, and it doesn't look very uniform. So we would like to go to an ankle sock for that. The summer uniform is in effect if you as an option if you want it until Halloween, and then it starts back up again after Easter, which is April 15th. It's earlier this year, but April 15th is the first official day the kids can wear the summer uniform if they wish to wear it. The that's all I have for the uniform. A couple other things I wanted to mention. The news flash has been it's been a tradition here for the last 5-6 years that a news flash goes out every week, and we do have signups for that. If you are not getting a news flash, in fact, one went home this week. If you did not get that news flash, there is a link in the letter that I sent home um, to the parents. You can find it on the website under Newsflash. Register for it, and it'll come to you as an announcement page every week. It has updates, it has calendars, things like that, things you'll need to know for the upcoming week. But like I said, one came home this week, so if you didn't get it, you're going to need to register for that. Always check the calendar for things that are going on. It's on the website, but it does get tweaked here and there when things change. And the first thing that changed this year is the movie night. We always have a family movie night the second Friday of the school year. We're going to delay that to the spring only because of the situation we're in right now. It probably would be safer to do that. And the spring, there are a whole bunch of other things that are going on in the spring, but that's neither here nor there. I think we'll try the spring for this year and see how that happens. Things might get changed as the pandemic drags a little bit, so double check the calendar every once in a while just to make sure you're on top of things. Like I said before, earlier in my spiel here, the jackpot is back up and running. This week was the first drawing as it restarts. If you need any information about that, call Mrs. Valley at the rectory as 215-632-1144. She can set you up with that. There is a financial bonus to this. If you do participate in the jackpot, you get a voucher which goes to your tuition. And there are people who have gotten hundreds of dollars off their tuition because they sell these tickets, but you'd have to talk to Mrs. Valley to get the details on that. And I just gave you that number. The other thing that's handled by the rectory are your clearances. Now, because we're not going on trips until for the foreseeable future, we'd like you to update your clearances if you need them updated. We'll have a list available for each teacher who will be able to tell you who needs them updated. The younger ones usually, the younger kids, the parents of the younger kids usually don't need them right away because there's a 5 year 5 year period in which they're valid. So and they're all like that now. They used to some used to be 3, some used to be 5, but now they're all 5. But Mrs. Williams, Miss Fran Williams at the rectory, she's the one who coordinates all that. If you do have a question about your clearances, ask your teacher first. They'll have the information they need to pass on to you about clearances. We just don't want everybody calling Mrs. Williams about things because she doesn't always have the time to address everybody's needs right away, and sometimes people need them right away. Which leads me to the next thing. We would like you to have all your clearances in the school. If you're planning to go on any trips or planning to be involved in the school in any way, especially in the near future when this pandemic stuff is over, you will need your clearances to be with the kids. So we would like you to update them by November 1st this year. That way we have everything in. Don't let that go too long because if you do, then you're going to be waiting and it could be a disaster when it comes time for trips. That's all I have on my list. In a few minutes, your teachers will take over. I do have one more announcement. Mr. Doug Roberts is one of our Cub Scout recruiters. They do run a great program here, so I'm going to give him some time to talk, and that way you can make a decision on whether you like your child to attend Scouts. Mr. Roberts.